Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 6th episode of Shootouts and Shoutouts. our after show roundtable for Tales of the Wasted West. Man, great freaking episode. Another one. Yeah, another loaded episode. Wow. Lots going on. Lots of threads being pulled and investigated and all of that kind of stuff. We only have 2 episodes left, like you said. Penultimate left episode. 2 left episodes. First of all, how's everyone feeling? Like, how are the players feeling? Like, how are you feeling about the campaign so far?
Love this campaign.
We hate it. We hate it. Hate it so much, clearly.
We're going home. Yeah. There are no 2 left episodes.
Yeah. Sorry, y'all.
Let's start with stars for this episode.
Don't say yourself.
And when we say start with stars, what we mean is give a star to something that has happened, and you can't give a star back to the person that gave you.
I'm giving my star. I'm just gonna yell, I guess.
Yes.
I'm giving my star to Omega because Omega didn't plan to be like the central story arc of the story, and just stepped up so hard today.
Yeah.
I feel like we learned so much about you and your character and your motivations, but in a way that was never like too much. Like I just wanted more. I felt like I was watching a movie, and it was just like it was beautiful. Here, you can have my deputy club star. That's
thank you. Yes.
Hashtag deputy.
Deputy.
Oh, you said that. No.
There's no way past that.
No.
It's a thing now.
It's a thing now.
No.
I am going to give this star, passing around the deputy team star.
Yes.
Oh God, there were so many good moments. We
need deputy star. Deputy team star pins.
Yes. Please.
Merch.
This is hashtag deputy on.
I'm going to give my star. I'm actually going to give it to KP.
Hell yeah.
The reason being, I think, and it happened last episode, it happened this episode, but I think it's a good learning moment, and it shows how much failure doesn't mean the end in D&D. And you got a lot of background today. But like, there was still character that came out of it, and you stuck with it. And a lot of people get discouraged when they get bad rolls because they feel like it's the end. But D&D is not a win or lose game. D&D is a story, and the dice just help facilitate that story. So it's really nice to see how you flip those bad rolls for a profit, because it only strengthened, I believe, for the audience who Shiv is. And that was really cool to see. So my star goes to Catie.
Thank you. Can I just say, it's such a fun chance to... I'm so privileged to be able to get to play with people of such caliber as all of you. Like, it's so hard to decide. Seriously.
Buddy.
And before I give my to a specific person, I do want to say that as someone who's not really a trained performer, seeing and being able to be with all of you and learn from you guys and get the privilege to ask questions, and you all coming up and just being like, hey, yeah, here's how I would deal with that. It's been a privilege to learn. So wanted to put that out there first. In terms of moments, though, I think there's something. I'm going to have to give it to Archie over here, because I feel like all of us bring a level of heart to this team and to this story, but there's one through line through all of it that we kind of seem to rally around. That, like, it seems like everybody has, like, one is the brain, one is like the willpower and the smarts, and the smarts here and the chaos there. But there's that heart that always is ever present, and I really think you bring that to Archie so well. That moment, and it's subtle things too, like sniffing the flower, the choice of running up to literally what we thought was an enemy, and instead of going, oh, I'm gonna pummel him, just be like, hey, what are you doing? What's going on, guy? And you're just like, what? Oh, I didn't. Oh, okay, yes. So I really enjoyed that, and I think you're doing such a phenomenal job with that.
Thank you, buddy. All right. I'm not Archie right now. I can talk like me.
Hard back, Jesse.
I'm stuck this way for a bit.
There's a moment that I literally teared up. I don't know if it showed. If it does, make fun of me online. It's fine. But my boy Alexander, you get the imaginary thingy now.
The deputy team star.
The deputy team star. Taking a moment to kind of dial back the initial impression. Shows the strength of character of Mr. of Sniff, but also like the true make of the kind of character you're bringing to the table, the complexity, the maturity, the depth of character, and also the kindness that may not have been initially apparent. And I think that is fun to watch, and also very touching. So.
Again, it's very difficult when you've got so many talented people at the table doing so many fantastic things to try and pick one out. However, talking about strength of character, the sheer pent-up energy that is Wedler fighting against their baser instincts. You can hear the thrum of tension vibrating through their very core. Be it simply standing outside a building and not breaking in, to not instantly blowing the whistle when it's handed to them. Yes, it's. Wedler is a comedy character. There's a lot of humour in there, but as we develop more, there's a lot to unpack. But it's lovely how, with all the tension that we're going through, and we've had some really, really hard moments, that we have something to just undercut and just give a little bit of levity to it, so we can appreciate the more difficult moments. So.
Thanks. Start. I consistently, I'm obviously gonna give it to our dear Catie for some.
Absolutely.
Last maybe, but not the least at all.
Because one, there's such a beautiful balance to this party, and when I think often we think automaton, we think rigid, and though Nexus's speech and maybe patterns are rigid, everything else about them is fluid, is like full of a strange amount of life and joy and warmth, right?
Yes.
The first thing you always do is introduce yourself, and that is just like, even the orc smiled at you, accepted that as like this really beautiful thing. And so there is comedy in that as well, but I think there's also this like juxtaposition of an automaton to such genuine, I hate to say genuine humanity, right? Genuine humanity. And I think, I think Dot is drawn to that. I'm really super drawn to that as like a viewer. So when I pull myself out, sometimes I'm just like, oh my God, what a fun character. You're so great and warm, and I want to be your best friend and eat pastries all the time, you know? And so I think it's not necessarily a single moment, but at this point deep in the story, it's actually more of like the giant arc of Nexus and the kind of place in all of this where we always have somebody that's grounded, but we also have somebody that is just a ray of sunshine. And that is that holds the party together in a different kind of heart, you know?
Aww.
Amazing.
Oh.
I have to give a quick shout out to Jay.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Even though it was in a scene that I also was heavily in, the way you played the Undertaker, you played Rustin, was a gift.
Yeah, it really was, man.
You frustrated me.
Yes.
But wow, so good.
Appreciate that.
I think what I love about it, because, you know, and nothing against other DMs who give this, and those are enjoyable moments too, but the fact that you're just like, you know, this information is going to be difficult to get. You're not going to get it easily. Like, I'm just like, give it to me, give it to me, come on, give it to me. And he's like, no, try harder. And I'm like, fine. And I think that slight, even though it's that slight frustration, it's more of a character frustration than a player frustration. And you're just like, okay, what else can I do? What more can I do? And you're just, now your brain's constantly turning and thinking and wanting to do more. I think that's just made the whole process very exciting.
Well, for me, it's a blessing to have players that I can challenge in role play rather than just rolling. And I was making rolls, and I was asking for rolls.
Wedler was so close, and I rolled that nat 1. He gave me this great speech.
Yeah, it was
and
fantastic. It was fantastic.
Nat 1, which is very Wedler.
But I still took it into consideration. Like it was still like, there's still the balance there. Because yes, sure, we roll, and it's more about But it was anyways. It was such a great interaction. All of it was so good.
I think all the NPCs, both as written. Thanks, Teddy.
Thank you, Teddy.
Thank you, Teddy. Very helpful, Teddy.
As well as portrayed by you, gives this town its own character. This town, Hellsbank, is a character in this game.
Hell yeah.
And the more that we dig up, the more that we uncover, the more this town has its own, not just story, but personality, which is heavily driven by the kind of rich NPCs and history that is in this single map. A single map, of not even the whole world, just 2 streets and some buildings. And that takes a great GM, great storytelling, and an excessive amount of love and creativity for what we're doing. And it's just I think it's just really showing through. It's shining. As hot as the sun of the wasteland.
Yeah, I was going to say, and honestly, I mean, not to toot our own horns, but all of this coming from practically a single book, all this information and inspiration to make all of this is, I think, really cool. And the fact that it can be adapted to other things also was exciting to see how other people would interpret all of this.
Watching, just see, because I've seen the preview, right? So Dot has to get rid of all the meta, and I've been trying really hard to do a good job. I actually tried not to peep at the GM guide we gave you, what little bit we previewed you for, but just what you've done with it alone gets me so hella hyped to see what the full book would look like and what you could do with even more. Because look what you've done with this much less what the whole thing is gonna eventually become. And I really hope you take the whole book and just keep going with this world, Jason.
Yes, please.
Yes.
I would love
Season
to.
2.
Season 2.
It was great. All right, with a couple more minutes left, just any threads that you pulled that you want to pull more, that you've put together, any revelations. Or any assumptions of what's going on.
Why was Clint able to go into the temple? Why?
Yeah.
I have theories.
It's the outside dirt boot loophole.
Well, this isn't really about the game, but I think one thing that I've really been noticing, just about us as a group of players, and maybe just I was thinking about especially myself tonight, but one of the things I think is really interesting is not doing stuff and how interesting not doing stuff can be. Because I know CD, I think last time you were talking about just stepping up and having those moments and stuff, but I couldn't there were a couple times where I was I don't know what Nexus would do. And so rather than have that moment where I would just shoehorn in the thing, I would just go, you know what? I'm just gonna sit here. I think Nexus is not gonna know what to do, and so she's gonna look at Mr. Smith, or she's gonna let Wedler just keep talking or whatever. and I was like, it was really cool having that experience of wow, I didn't actually do much this time, but I still got to feel like I was learning about the world and part of the world in that way. And I think that's again, it's not a thread at all, but it was just really on my mind because I think it shows the depth of the world and what Jay, what you're doing and how you can take just all of this stuff and you don't have to be the best player or the person who always does something to really get an incredible playing experience out of each thing, and that's neat about D&D, I guess. Where I was going.
That's awesome.
What was your actual question?
Any revelations or things that you put together? That you
In
wanna share?
character or out of character?
Both.
You know what? Yes.
Yeah, you go.
I have some theories. I can't say it's a revelation because I have no hard evidence
Sure.
yet.
I love theories.
But I have some theories. I have a theory that the bank is not just holding gold. that it is
Yeah.
a fortress, and he's actually digging from the bank under the town to the graveyard.
Because why these two streets in the middle of nowhere? Like, that's
Well,
what
the
I can't get
mine.
over.
Well, and it was, I get that it's built around the mine, and then when he kind of moved in, the town became less of a thorp, we'll call it, and more of a proper township in which he named and he funded and blah, 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 blah. But there is something very specific about the bank, which is that it is alignment with the graveyard, the cemetery. And more importantly, if things are sinking, as you said, Wedler would know that that means that we dug up from the bottom, which we got confirmation of, or think we've got confirmation of. Which means that he's building an army. He needs more dead bodies. And so 2 or 3 begin to sink, and so one at a time, he can just start collecting them. And so I have a theory that he's collecting them, taking them back to the bank, raising them, cursing, whatever he's doing, and that there will be some hell to pay.
So about that dynamite you're gonna throw.
Right, which is also another reason, because I'm not here to like,
I love this
Spoiler
theory,
anything,
but I'm also so scared.
yeah.
about it.
Basically, we have Chekhov's dynamite. There
Yeah,
is-
that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, we have to use it. At
I
some
have
point.
2 sticks of dynamite. At some point, I'm going to use it for something. I'm going to use it for something. I don't know what it is yet, but I've been sitting on 2 sticks of dynamite. That feels very Wedler to me. But yeah, I think that's one of my theories, is that he's holed up in this bank, and it's an easy excuse because a bank is heavily locked and vaulted. It's always an excuse to be like, no, you can't come in because I'm protecting the money of this town. But he could actually be hiding a ton of stuff behind those stone walls and those steel bars.
I think there might be some sort of infernal temple.
I'm actually thinking
I
that
think it
too.
is. I think it's
Interesting.
sanctified to some sort of unholy deity,
Unholy
or
thing.
some power that is.
Yep.
I'm going to piggyback
Malevolent.
up with that because, yes, Yates smelled different than Clint and Jenkins did. And I'm not sure if I even have. Sorry, I'm not even sure if I even have a scent or not. I don't know. And we know that he has never gone to the temple.
It's actually
And,
sanctuary.
and
Yeah.
Decca's flat out said, "Don't believe he's human." Could be a fiend.
Yes.
or something at least fiendish,
Fiendish.
tainted.
Something not humanoid. I don't think undead either, but I do think that's my next assumption is fiendish, devilish, demonic, whatever.
I mean, it could have potentially just had a pact and that's left its stain.
Here is my real thought, and it scares me, and I won't say why.
Okay.
Whoever, it's either one or two things. The ever-living bandits had to get their power from somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
Either they got it from the same entity that Yates is connected to, or they got it from Yates.
That's
Yes.
what I
yes.
think.
I'm agreeing.
Yeah.
Entirely.
And if they got it from Yates for different reasons, I'm internally screaming. But yeah, I think that there is a connection there.
But why would the orcs? Well, maybe just that one orc. I don't know, but it seems like his everything.
It seems like maybe his posse is not, so that he can maintain control, because they're all orcs, right? So all
Right.
of his goons are orcs, and we've kind of established that to some degree, and then backed that up tonight. So, I mean, you got to have both, right? Because clearly, if it is some kind of
like a
spell
front.
or enchantment that is keeping, say, the dead alive, like what happened to Clint, that clearly doesn't last forever.
This is a weird question. Nobody's looked at the money in this town, right?
No, we have not. I also have theories on that.
I also
follow the money.
Okay.
I also have a gut feeling, and I don't know what you could do magically. But why do you have? I mean, there's a part of me that feels like weird, like intimately weird, that he's surrounding himself by all these orcs. Like, why
Yes.
orcs? Do you see them as brutes? Do you see them as expendable, which is a whole problem
Oh,
in
I
itself?
have a problem
But I
with
don't
that.
think it's that, because that goes into a space. Is he an orc?
Yeah, well, how does he?
Oh,
how
that's
does
a
he
Well, no, we know he doesn't
human.
look like one.
He looks human.
He also smells different. Is he an orc? Is he actually an orc?
But that in itself, I mean, I
wasn't
wouldn't
a-
necessarily think that he would obfuscate that unless he is. I mean, let's say he is an orc. Does he have half a face?
and we don't know it.
Well, is it half a face or is
Half face.
Half
It was
face.
It's a man with half a face.
Well, the leader of the ever living bandits name was half face.
No, the leader is known as the man with half a face.
Oh, okay. It's not the name.
No,
Actual.
his name is not half face. He is known as the man with half a face. So man makes me think human.
But
Man,
that's
but
just,
but that's an assumption.
it's
you know.
not him being the orc isn't important, but I guess like why do you have something like I'm trying to think like is there an orc god? Is there an orc deity?
I
Is
was
there
thinking that there might
entity?
have been like an orc encampment or maybe an orc tribe that he was able to bargain with, or they share something.
No, that's something.
Now, I have another theory, and it's out there. I've been simmering a lot on this mind.
All right,
Last theory.
I have a. Oh man, are we running out of time?
There's
I
so
have
many. Oh, we're out of
things to
time.
say.
It's like 5 minutes.
Quick theory. I have
Yeah.
a theory that the mine collapsed because something came out of the mine. They dug something up.
They delve too deep.
They dug too deep.
Yeah.
They dug too deep and something came out. I also just want to say this: a theme that I think organically has come out of this campaign, and it's been really interesting, is the concept of value. What people value, right? You put 10 gold down today on flour. Why? Because that flour held this kind of value to you, right? Wheeler doesn't care about gold. He cares about baubles given to him as friends. That is value. A value in who you can trust. A value in people versus money. Control versus freedom. These values or the concept of like what is value and where do we place our value.
Even to the gods, like
Into the gods, or is it healing people? But there's this theme of like where we place our value that I think is making this really rich story. And it's kind of interesting when you're dealing with somebody who puts all of this value in money and power and control.
That's good.
Awesome. All right. Well, that is it for Shootouts and Shoutouts.
Hashtag deputy?
Hashtag.
Oh wait!
hashtag
Wait! Yeah. How do we? Oh,
Oh, I can't do a hand star.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
we'll got it.
We'll work
next time.
Bye next time.
Yeah. Awesome. You folks have a wonderful night. We will see you again next week for episode 7, second last episode. And then episode 8 the following week. I love you guys. Bye.